Hi, this is Michelle Rumschlag, Naturalist, and welcome to Virtual Experiences with the Hancock Park District. It's Friday, so we're hitting the trails. Today you're joining me at the Prairie at Oakwoods Nature Preserve. So if you've never been to the Prairie, you just take one of the paths kind of past the lake, turn to the left, and you'll get to this beautiful open area where a lot of grasses and flowers are kind of now shining. And so the Prairie is not a native one or a natural one. We did make it back in 1986 when we first got the Oakwoods property. So different seeds were acquired and picked and then planted, and it's about 2 acres in size. And so it showcases a lot of prairie flowers and also some of the prairie plants that would have been here back in the early 1800s. We don't have a lot of our prairies from back then because of the pioneers coming and plowing up the fields. Remember, we used to have bison and prairie chickens at one point in Ohio. So this is a great little kind of hidden gem in the parks, so I invite you to come back, especially here in August this time of year, because that's when the flowers are out. And one of them I want to talk about is this tall one here next to me, and this is called Prairie Duck. And I'll bring it forward so you can take a look at the flowers. So this one gets 3 to 10 feet tall, and with all prairie plants, they have an extensive root system, and that's one of their adaptations. We have to maintain our prairie for succession. If we didn't, this would turn into the woods that's behind me. And so one of the ways we do that is doing a prescribed burn. If we burn it down, all the plants, with that deep root system, so the prairie duck could have a 10-foot root system down in the ground, even if the soil heats up, that root system is still there and it's going to be able to regenerate, but that fire is also killing any woody species or any non-native species that aren't adapted for fire. So another neat thing about the plant are the leaves. It has these large leaves, and again, if you get near the edge and see one, I want you to kind of feel it. It's very thick and very sandpapery, and that's an adaptation to help keep as much water as they can. Again, we're out here, there's a lot of sun, and so it's very hot and they want to maintain as much water as they can. Another neat thing about these leaves is they face northwest, so the sun is hitting them with the east and the west, and that way it helps with photosynthesis and also with not losing as much water as they can. With most plants, they had some type of medicinal uses. Native Americans used it to help cause vomiting. I've also read that it helps with bleeding, but again, do your homework. It also said used in great quantities, it could be toxic. Again, some of that might just be for fun reading of uses from days ago. Another plant that we have is called mountain mint, and you can see we've got some insects. We have a cabbage white butterfly flying on it there. Now these only get to be about 1 or 3 feet tall, and like the name implies, it does have a minty smell to it. So if you're out, you can gently rub the leaves or even the blooms, and you can smell that kind of mint smell. And like the name implies, it is in the mint family. So a lot of insects are coming out this time of year because these are the flowers that are blooming to collect that nectar and help pollinate them. It's not all just flowers out here in the prairie. There are some grasses, and the one you're going to see is a big blue stem. So that these are the stalks right here. So again, 8 to 10 feet tall. They get the name from this kind of purplish bluish tinge that it gets when it's growing. And then another name, or nickname I guess, is called Turkeyfoot. And that is from the seed heads that when they put together might look like that foot of a wild turkey. Now, the larvae of a lot of kind of skippers, which are types of butterflies, will use this. So the butterflies will lay their eggs. When the caterpillars hatch out, they've got something to eat here. Remember, if you watched a couple weeks ago, we highlighted some of the native flowers in front of the administrative office. So we still have our prairie coneflower, which is kind of at its end of its bloom time, and then our wild bergamot. So I advise you to come out. We have a mowed path around the prairie here. So come out and explore. Again, this is the time of year when the prairie is in its glory. Just stay on the path and don't venture into the prairie like I have today. So remember, join us on Monday at 1 o'clock for our Discovery Stories. Thanks for joining us, and have a great day.